First of all, thank you for taking some time. It's nice to meet you. My name is D'Angelo.
It's nice to meet you too. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So my first question is one of the cool things, of course, about your character is that it has a depth to it. Like a very relatable component to it. Um, did that getting that information do anything to your approach in preparing for your role?
Getting the information that she existed before?
Well, not that she existed before. Not only that, but just I feel like a lot of times when it comes to villains, it's like just straightforward. Oh, this is a bad person, but there's a very relatable and humanitarian component to her
Right.
will. So
Yeah,
I was wondering if, in going through the audition and seeing the script, if that shaped kind of your approach to her.
yeah, definitely. I feel like I think I would struggle playing a person who was 100% evil and messed up or anything like that. Whereas Carly, she was so fun to play because there was obviously a lot of layers to her and there's a lot of things to unpack there. And what she's doing, what like her fight, the thing that she's fighting for, I can relate to. And I think a lot of people would be able to relate to, like, essentially she's fighting for equality and peace amongst society, and I think a lot of people would want that. So yeah, I essentially agree with her. So it made it a lot easier to understand why she was doing what she was doing.
And then they've talked about, obviously we've only seen so much of her so far, but one of the writers have talked about how you're the glue to the series. Is that something that you felt like where you're like, I mean, obviously all of the characters are important, right? But did you feel like, wow, this is a very significant character to the story that we're sharing?
um I don't think I thought that she was the glue. I don't think I had time. I was freaking out too much about the fact that I was in a Marvel show, to be honest with you. Um, so yeah, I didn't really go as far as thinking that Carly was the glue. Um, I think she definitely makes a lot of the other characters in the show question themselves and what they're standing for. And I think that's always quite important and interesting to see as well. Yeah.
And so, speaking of just trying to focus on your role, they were talking about how they really didn't want it. They wanted the fight scenes to not be so weapon focused, and how it was just a lot of combat. And I know that you got your hands dirty in regards to training and doing everything. What was that like? Because I don't think as viewers we understand how exhausting something like that could be. What was that process like?
It was exhausting. No, it was a lot of fun. It was very intense, and but it's good though. It's good that it was so intense because then on camera it looks real and it looks like I can actually fight. And prior to this, I had a little bit of experience with stunt training on Star Wars, but I'd never done it to this level. And with Star Wars 2, I was using a staff, so it's very different to having no weapons, which I also think is quite interesting for them to decide to have no weapons in it or little weapons in it. But yeah, it was a lot of work, but it was really cool. It was a lot of fun.
How does that influence, or does it influence your performance or your focus from delivering your lines, or maintaining whatever feeling you need to have? Does it help you stay in that lane, or makes it more difficult?
I think it helps. It helps when you're doing something physically and it's either physically exhausting or looks super powerful or feels super powerful. It will then, for me anyway, it comes out in what I'm saying or how I'm acting. Um, so yeah, I guess it was kind of helpful. I never thought about that before, but yeah, it was helpful.
When it so obviously we talked about the name, you guys' name, Flag Smashers, and the fact that technically speaking, you're a villain. But
Mhm.
since there's this very relatable cause that you're a part of, have you ever thought about what it would look like if you were the hero, or like how how that would just impact your view of her, or like what her name would be?
Oh, I don't know what her name would be. I think I think Carly thinks that she's the hero. So I was kind of playing it like that. I think already from the get-go, I was trying to stay away from um her being this one-dimensional villain, you know. I didn't want people to take that away from this character. And so already I was going into it thinking that Karli thought that she was the hero in all of this and that she was doing the right thing. And in episode 2 she was compared to Robin Hood, which I think is a very good comparison. Like, essentially they're stealing, you know, they're stealing these medical supplies, they're stealing food supplies, but it's for a good thing. It's for people who need it, and the people that are supposed to be dealing with all of this aren't dealing with it, so she's taking it into her own hands. So yeah, I think from the get-go I was kind of trying to play her like she thought she was in the right.
That, yeah, she definitely takes into her own hands. I mean, she's a badass. I mean, point blank. But for something about her character is just very, because it's like, it's a lot of times in life where we think we're the good person, we think we're doing the right thing, and we're doing it completely incorrectly. And this is, do you feel like there are moments where you reflect in your life where you're like, oh, you know what, I might not have been the good person in this life, that helped you connect with her as a character?
Like somebody to compare her to?
Oh, excuse me. So like in your life, it's are there times where you thought you were doing things the right way and you were like, you realized that, yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, all the time. All the time. And I think I've grown out of it a bit now, but especially in my teenage years, I thought that I was doing the right thing and maybe it got mistaken or things like that. But I guess it's just part of life, isn't it? You think I think a lot of people can relate to that, where they think they're doing a good thing and essentially their morals are actually right, but it can appear in lots of different ways, you know.
Cool. And then my final question for you. I'm actually a really big mental health guy, so I always love, kind of hearing if people are, have a journey with that. I would imagine in persevering through this very strenuous, like, acting performance, and just like how as hands-on as it is, as long as the days are, what were things that you did as an actress to keep yourself sane, or just to keep yourself sharp, or just to check in on yourself?
Also, first of all, thank you for asking that. That's a very important question. It's not been addressed yet at all. I think the way I helped myself out was taking time to take care of myself and not have too much focus and it be too heavy, too work heavy, and also having time to check in with home as well. Being away from home was quite difficult. And also everybody at home is very good at grounding me and bringing me back down to earth, and being working in that industry sometimes, and not even on the Falcon, on this show I had a lot of fun and it was very light most of the time, pretty much all of the time actually. So there wasn't any moments really where I felt like I needed to be brought down or there was things happening that made me feel really crap or anything like that. But definitely on other productions or other shows, it's always good to check in with family and check in with people that keep you grounded and remind you about all of the other great things that are happening, you know.
Where is the buzz?
Oh, yeah.
Where is the buzz? You said was mine.
Where is the buzz?